Good evening, guys. It's Larry Stottle, and tonight I'm going to be doing something new for me, something I've never done before. You know, I don't tend to recite poetry, and I'm going to recite poetry tonight. I'm going to recite the Ballad of Joey Lancaster from Red Labels 2. I mean, personally, I really would like to read something from that fifth chapter of Red Labels, which is very aural and it flows really well, which would be great for recital, but a lot of it has like Dwight's bits, you know, in the middle of it, so it'll be kind of patchy now. I don't fancy myself reading Dwight's poetry because it'll be better done in his voice, because it's his poetry. Anyway, as I said, I have never recited poetry properly before, so bear with me if I make some mistakes. Do not slay me. I'm going to start with the introduction of the Ballad of Joey Lancaster, and what needs to be remembered here is that this is, in essence, a story about a guy called Joey Lancaster, written in both the first person and the third person. The introduction being written in the third person, and the rest of it is in the first person, from Joey Lancaster's perspective. Right, here we go. Joey Lancaster was wild. He didn't care what he did. I remember when he walked into a club with an eighth of brandy in his hand, kissed the first girl he saw and looked me square in the eye. The intensity of his stare dared me to do the same. Joey Lancaster was fearless. The Ballad of Joey Lancaster. I loved him more than I do now. More than I do now, he's left me down and out, with a hand of promise and another full of sorrow, as I reminisce the rasp of his thorny tomorrows. The secret life of us and all that we had seen, all we'd done in the name of his hedonist belief, within the filthy velvet drip of these scarlet chamber walls, the misunderstood nonsensical, if only I could mute it all. Beautiful Joey's lustful desires within, his tender soul and his fleshly sins, to whom refusal was but a tall tale that laid within the enchanted worlds he exhaled. I loved him more than you will ever know. I held his hand before he had to go, along with the velvet and filthy drip. I had none but Joey at my lips. Where did he end up? Men like Joey don't tend to end anywhere, be it up or down. They never end. They just keep rolling and rolling, devoid of moss. Verse 1. The Fall of Joey Lancaster. I don't much doubt that they see me for more than I am, that they believe that I stand for more than I ever will. In their eyes it is freedom of expression that favours the dark liquor in this translucent prison. In mine it's a preference of liquor's dark and a desire to do as I wish. The calm. Exorcising what haunts these demons with a goblet of brandy, freedom. The disguise of its fountain, the freedom of tongues, the reason they found me, my amoral disposition at the depth of the season. Youth in my stride, tunnel-visioned as the blind hedonist echoes from inside. From within all sin, the self-centered frolicking heathen bathing in lies. In sins of omission, sways with the bass as he strides visionless, blind to grey figures floating the room, only to find myself opposite her. Her and her vacant eyes, her cherry-red lips, her lifeless morning locks and snow-white skin. Cold as the rocks within my goblet. My goblet. My lips part and the goblet slips from a loose grip, hurtling to the ground and breaking. The brandy spilt. Infatuation and greedy need hit as I stumble for her and lean for a kiss, one fragranced by the scent of the last cigarette on her breath. Her lips cold as the rocks that bathed in freedom, the freedom that wept and shed blood as its soul left its tomb for dead. That very moment I fell for her. She became what I lived for, and I worshipped her. She was the crown I wore that night. Infatuated with her, I'd romanticized the idea of life and yielded freedom to taste her double vodka and coke. Okay guys, thank you for listening. Please don't kill me for the quality being crap. For, you know, I promise the real collection looks better than it sounds. Yeah, I mean, clearly I'm not a YouTube genius. So yeah, I just hope you liked, listening to me recite some of my own stuff. So much that you'll actually think about reading the whole collection. And yeah, follow me on Twitter at Rookie Lawrence. That's ROOKIE Lawrence for any updates with regards to upcoming work. And yeah, have a good night.